Andreas Giorgio here for MMA Plus following the conclusion of Glory 42 in Paris, France. I'm joined by the CEO of Glory, Jon Franklin. Jon, before we talk about the event, because it was actually a very fantastic
event. It was a great event, but first thank you for coming and thank you for being here and talking to me. Always a pleasure to see you guys and glad to be with you again.
It's a privilege to be back. I think it's been 6 months. Glory Collision was the last time we were here, so it's great to be back talking to you and talking to these great fighters in the Glory ring.
Great to have you on tour, man.
We appreciate that. We appreciate it. Let's talk about it first, because there was a massive controversy in the co-headline bout between Murthel Groenhart and Harut Grigorian. After Murthel defeated Harut, he knocked him out. A fan stormed the ring and attacked Murthel. Can you give us an update on that? Has there been any police involved? Has any legal action been taken?
There's a couple of points to make. One, if you watch that fight, he actually turned his back and Murthel took the shot. So I think that while legal under the rules and supported by the ISKA, the referee had not stopped the fight, I think that was what got the fans riled up. So the good news is we have really passionate fans who get excited about Glory combat. So we had that, but of course these guys jumped the barricade. We've got a full metal barricade. We've got pretty good security. Ran into the ring and took a shot at Murthel. I'm told they know who the guys are. That French law, like American law, you can't just go and knock someone out. It's an assault charge. The good news is that I did talk to the doctor after, and who had examined Murthel, and for us, the safety of our athletes is first and foremost. And he said, his jaw was not broken, his bite was perfect, he may have a contusion, but it's not a lasting damage thing. So that's the most important thing, that Murthel is really not hurt. The next thing is, how the French authorities handle it. Like I said, they know who the guys are, and they're going to have to take it from here.
Yeah, will Glory be monitoring that, or ISK be monitoring that?
ISK will be monitoring it, and of course I'm interested. I went and talked to the doctor afterwards. I tried to help get people out of the ring. So we want to know what happens, and if they're going to talk to us about what happened and what we saw, we're available. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, negativity aside, it was a very strong event from Glory coming back to France, I believe for the first time since Lyon. Coming to the French capital here in Paris, and a very strong card overall, super fight series, which I want to delve into a little bit. First, Zinedine Hammerlane with a completely monumental knockout, the high kick knockout. It was really spectacular on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, that was great. It was a spinning high kick, and it was after a punch, so he looked like he was a little dazed, and then the high kick came in. So I thought it'll probably make one of our top 10 knockouts, which is great. And Hammerlane has had some great knockouts in the past. He's super quick and super strong. So that was fun in front of a home crowd. Again, back to the former thing, passionate fans here. We had hundreds of people come down on coaches from the Netherlands to wear their orange shirts and root for Nieky Holzken. So when Nieky walked out for the title fight, people were cheering, people were dancing. And then Cedric Doumbe, he's a showman. He came out dancing, and the other side of the crowd started cheering and dancing, and people were crowding the ring. We had to move people back to get the fight off once again. But that just shows the passion of Glory fans and how exciting Glory kickboxing can be.
Yeah, I know, kind of linking on to this is probably a question for Core as well, but with the landscape now, does it look like potentially you could do Nieky Holzken, Johan Congolo, and Cedric Doumbe against Murthel Groenhart?
That really is a question for Core. Where does Nieky go from here? He's lost to Jinbei twice. I don't think you put him back in a tournament. But he's got to fight somebody. You've got Congolo now. You've got Groenhart. How does the landscape lay? But all great fights, all exciting. Great division right now. A lot of action in the division.
Is Nieky still locked down in an exclusive contract?
Nieky is a Glory fighter. Yeah, he'll be back in Glory.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Cedric Doumbe, because the energy, the high octane energy that he brings. As you said, there was a sea of orange t-shirts supporting Nieky Holzken tonight, but you can't you can't deny that it was a very passionate French crowd here as well for Cedric Doumbe.
Passionate French crowd for Cedric Doumbe, and he deserves the passion because he's out there. He looks like he's having fun. If you want to look at that fight compared to his last couple fights, he seemed a little tighter for the first 2 rounds. Not as much fun, not smiling as much. But by the 3rd round, he was the Cedric Doumbe of his last fight. The last fight we said, wow, he's really stepped up his game. He seems stronger, he seems faster. This time, you got a little bit of a slower start, but then back to the Cedric Doumbe, back to the smile, back to acting a little bit, taking a step back. Nieky moving forward, Cedric, Nieky accuses him of running, but he gets the shots in, and he totally knows what he's doing out there.
Is he a new star for you? Is he the next guy?
He is a star. He's got the personality. He makes people happy. He's got a big smile, and he dances and he has fun. So he makes the crowd have fun. So for us, it's a great thing.
Just want to get some clarification on the contender tournament. Christian Bayer, he won tonight here in Paris, but we spoke to Harut Grigorian after he won on the Super Fight Series, and he said he wanted Christian Bayer next, he wanted that fight next. So I know it's obviously quite soon after the event, but is that possible? Is Christian going to get the title shot?
Yeah, I think that you can do some fights before the title shot. Obviously, Christian deserves a title shot. Does it come next? I don't know. That's a question for Core. And the matchmakers to see how healthy everyone is after their fights, to see when it fits in, what the schedule is, and come up with a decision and make an announcement.
Yeah. So earlier this week, Joseph Altolini and Todd Grisham in the Glory Kickboxing podcast spoke about, well, they actually gave some news about Toronto and Canada progressing. And Joseph said that you and the ISKA had some really positive meetings with the Ontario Athletic Commission, and that it was looking more and more likely that potentially November could be a date. Is that genuinely now a possibility?
It's a possibility. It's a goal of ours to go up to Toronto, and it has been for a while. They operate under the old American kickboxing rules. I think they're like, pads on your knees, no strikes above the waist, or whatever it is. So it's like boxing with kicks. It's not really kickboxing. And so we have to get the rules changed. And our rules are really a subset of MMA rules. We don't do anything that MMA doesn't do. In fact, they do more damaging strikes than we have, takedowns and all that.
Yeah.
So it would seem logically that our rules would be fairly easy to approve, but we still have to go through the process there. And we started it a while ago. We finally had a good meeting with the Ministry of Sport, Youth and Culture there. Now we're submitting the paperwork that they want, and then it will be up to them. I can't predict what they're going to do. It would seem to make sense to allow Glory and other kickboxing leagues, junior kickboxing, amateur, everyone who fights under our rules to have a place in the province of Ontario, but ultimately that's up to them.
Yeah. New York and Chicago are the next two events. Have we got anything coming back to Europe later this year?
Yeah, of course we'll be back. We'll be back in the countries. Our strategy right now is to go to the places that want us. So we want to come back to we want to come back to Holland. We do great in France. Will we go back to Germany? I don't know. Depends on the card. But yeah, of course, we'll be back in Europe, and as Core mentioned, we're going to go to China before the end of the year as well. And we want to, we'll finish out the year with a big fight, probably in Europe.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Okay. You're going to leave me to linger on that. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, I know there could be some speculation for that. I won't go too much into that. But China, massive market. We've seen the promotion like Kunlun do huge numbers in China, and I think especially with the backing of Yao Ming, that this is definitely a possibility for Glory to branch over there now.
Yeah, that was always part of the plan once we became partners with Yao's company. And we've been over there, and we've had our meetings, and we've got a staff going, and we're going to be running some events in China. And we've got arenas held, and we're ready to go. As you saw from the last couple of cards, I can't pronounce all their names, but we've signed some Chinese fighters, and some of them look pretty good. And so we're excited to take them into their home country now that they've been battle tested in Glory in Europe, and we'll be in China at some point.
Events plural? You said events?
Well, multiple events. Yeah, we're not just going to go to China and leave.
Yeah.
You're going
to build a market.
Yeah, we're going to build a market there for Glory. Already, I don't know about this show, but the last show that we did live on Lit TV in China, we had 600,000 viewers or whatever, and it was in the middle of the night on their time. So, Chinese fans are hungry for combat. A couple of leagues going, and we want to get into the mix and mix it up over there.
Yeah, last question, because I know that the international expansion is something very important to you, and it's something that you've invested a lot of energy in. The UK are crying out for a card. You've got the likes of Jamie Bates, Mo Abdurrahman, and Bailey Sugden now from the UK. Come on.
We want to come to the UK. We actually had the Wembley Theatre held, and then the Klitschko fight showed up about the same time.
Okay.
So we moved over, I think, to Copenhagen the same weekend.
Okay.
And we're working hard to get a good TV deal in England. That's important to us to get into the market. But we've got our Road to Glory shows, as you mentioned. Jamie and those guys coming out of Road to Glory. So there'll be more Road to Glories coming up, and then ultimately there'll be a fight in England.
Okay. Quick question. Those Road to Glory shows, do they count towards that 18 event total that you predicted?
Not really. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to hit 18 events this year. With the regulatory things that we've been up against in certain jurisdictions, so we probably won't hit 18. It'll be closer to 14 or 15. We don't count the Road to Glories in those. But what the Road to Glory does is help us identify and develop young talent to bring up to Glory. So the guys who win the Road to Glory tournaments get a slot in Glory. That's where Dustin Jacoby came from. That's where Francis Ambang came from. That's where Xavier Vigny came from. So the winners, Jamie Bates, so the winners of Road to Glories can come and fight in Glory.
Okay, well, Jon, always a pleasure to speak to you, and hopefully we'll be back in Europe and we can chat again.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Why don't you come to New York?
Who knows?
It's easy. It's easy to get from London to New York.
It's a quick flight.
Yeah,
I think it's 9 hours or something like that.
No, like 6 or something. But,
okay,
you know, MMA Plus. Can't you take the Concorde? I mean,
we're rolling in that money now, so we'll see. We'll see about that. Yeah. Maybe Michael Stets will make an appearance.
Yeah. He should come. He can drive from Detroit.
He can definitely drive. So we promise.
I grew up in Detroit. I grew up about a mile from where he lives right now.
Yeah.
So. I know he can drive to Detroit. I've done it.
So regardless, MMA Plus will be there.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about that.
Great.
Jon, thank you very much.
It's not the same without you. Great.
It's not. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.